Okay, so I'm going to explain how to use Table C. And Table C is the table in the very back of your book that helps you find your T statistic rather than your Z statistic. Once again, you find a T when you don't know sigma. So if you are doing a mean confidence interval, but you don't know sigma, so you have to use S as your estimate. So S and T go together in the alphabet, so if you have to use S, you're going to use T as your critical value. So you need to know two things to find your critical value T. You need to know your sample size, which that will give you your degrees of freedom. Your sample size is 14 in the problem that I posted, and so your degree of freedom in this case would just be 1 minus that, which is 13. Now you also need to know your confidence level. Now in this case, the confidence level was 95% confidence. And if I'm going to capture the middle 95%, that means I'm going to have 2.5% left over on each side. Now, Table C lists things in terms of your degrees of freedom and your upper tail probability. So notice our upper tail probability is 2.5% and our degrees of freedom is 13. So that's going to take us to Table C in our book. Now I know it's going to be a little small on here, but we're going to do the best we can. Alright, so in our table, once again, across the top we have our upper tail probabilities, and we are going to be looking at the 2.5% right here. And our degrees of freedom are along this left-hand column, and we're going to look at a degree of freedom of 13. So the way I'm going to get my T statistic here is I'm going to look across the 13 degree row until I match up with the 2.5% column, and looks like that's going to get me 2.160, and sure enough, I believe that is the T statistic that was used in the example. All right, hope that helps.